You awaken in a stifling, windowless cell that reeks of sweat, fear, and old oil. The stone beneath you is bitterly cold, pressing against your bare skin. From somewhere above, you hear laughter drifting down, sharp, mocking, the kind that makes your stomach twist in panic. Every part of your body throbs from last night. Bruises bloom along your ribs in shades of yellow and purple, like grotesque bruised petals. The iron shackle around your ankle has scraped your skin raw. Dried blood cracks and flakes as you shift. Then the sound of footsteps, heavy sandals striking marble. You know who it is. The overseer, come to prepare you for another round of what they call service. Your fingers tremble as you reach for the crumpled tunic in the corner. 15. At least you think so. You've lost count of your birthdays. Time is meaningless when you belong to someone else. The door groans open, metal dragging over stone, and sunlight slices into the room like a blade. You squint, shielding your eyes. A hulking figure blocks the doorway, broad, scarred, terrifying. A man carved from cruelty. Clean yourself, he barks, tossing a damp cloth to the floor. The master has guests tonight. Important ones. His eyes sweep over your body like a butcher assessing meat. You're going to help entertain them. Your throat closes. You don't need to ask what that means. You've known since they dragged you from your village, screaming. Since they told you your family's debts were settled with the only currency left, your body. This wasn't rare. This was the hidden truth of ancient Greece. It's not the version they teach in schools, not the gleaming age of reason and democracy. Behind the marble and philosophy lay something darker. A world where the vulnerable were stripped of humanity and repackaged as commodities. Before we go deeper into these buried histories of survival and pain, take a moment. If you value uncovering history's uncomfortable truths, hit like and subscribe. And tell me, where are you listening from? It amazes me that these forgotten stories still reach people, still matter, connected across time by memory and shared curiosity. Your fate was sealed long before you understood what was happening. Maybe your family owed money to a landowner. Maybe your village was raided during yet another war. Maybe you were just born beautiful. In a world that saw beauty as something to be purchased, possessed, and used. In the villages scattered through the Greek countryside, life balanced on a knife's edge. A single bad season, a sick father, one untimely death, and ruin came fast. And when creditors arrived, they didn't want promises. They wanted flesh. Picture it. A tiny village tucked between sun-bleached olive groves. Mud brick homes, dirt floors, families sleeping in tight circles for warmth. Children running barefoot between goats, their laughter mingling with the clatter of tools and the drone of cicadas. Then the drought comes. The sun burns the land day after day. Crops shrivel. The trees bear bitter fruit. The wells begin to dry. Desperation takes hold. Livestock go first. Then heirlooms. When there's nothing left, parents start looking at their children in a new way. Slave traders arrive like carrion birds. They lay out chains like jewelry, tally names and prices in ledgers. 20 years of service they offer for enough silver to survive the winter. It sounds merciful when your children are starving. You're 12. You don't understand desperation, only the feel of your father's eyes avoiding yours as he haggles over your future. Only the sound of your mother crying quietly while the merchant checks your teeth. You hear words you don't yet understand. Good stock. Obedient. Indoor use. And then silver coins spill into your father's hand, each one a year of your life. He takes them. She turns away. They say it's temporary. That you'll return a man. That you will earn enough to buy land. The lies taste sweet. Like honey hiding poison. The journey is long and brutal. You walk in chains with dozens of other boys, ankles bruised, necks stiff with rusted iron. The older ones don't speak. The younger ones cry until they can't anymore. The guards beat a hope out of them. The scenery is beautiful. Hills, sparkling coasts, eagle-filled skies, but you don't see it. Your world is a chain, and the boy in front of you, stone under your feet. A future already stolen. At night, you sleep chained to the earth. The merchants sometimes bring men to inspect the merchandise. Wealthy strangers walk the line, prodding flesh, studying teeth. Farmers look for muscle, householders for obedience. But then there are the others, rich, well-dressed, perfumed. Their eyes don't search for strength. Their hands linger in places that make your skin crawl. The Athens slave market is an assault on the senses. Noise, smell, naked bodies, a sea of human souls on display. Infants beside mothers, old men with cracked hands, buyers hover, pointing, whispering, calculating. You're washed and oiled, not from care, but to raise your price. The oil gleams on your skin, showing off the definition in your arms. Someone decides you're too pretty for fieldwork. They place you with the household slaves. You don't yet know what that means. The auctioneer announces your age, your health, your looks. You hear men murmuring approval. A bidding war begins. You stand still as hands grope and inspect. Teeth checked, arms pulled, hair tugged. You are no longer human. The man who wins is Lysander. You see his smile before you know his name. His hands soft. His tunic dyed royal purple. He smells of power. He looks at you the way a man might look at a cup of wine. His home is enormous, larger than your village. Marble halls, painted ceilings, mosaics of gods who never protected you. Other boys walk the halls, beautiful, quiet, hollow-eyed. The overseer who takes charge is Demetrius, once a slave like you, now a master of discipline. He walks you through the rules: feedings, bathing, silence, no eye contact, no refusal. And then you serve the master and his guests, however they wish. That's when the cold truly sinks in. Entertainment. That word again. You know what it means. The smile on Demetrius's face is a knife. Some boys resist, he says. They suffer. Others obey. They get better food, a thicker blanket, a little comfort, if they play along. Your cell is in the basement. Bare stone, a straw mat, a pot. No sound escapes these walls. You soon understand why. The other boys greet you with solemn faces. Marcus, your age, haunted. Alexios, older, bitter. Philemon, only 14, but already lost inside. He tells you what happens during the symposiums. Drinking parties, they call them. Great men debating philosophy, politics, poetry. But underneath the wine and rhetoric lies something else, a hunger. And now you are its offering. The symposiums are remembered as gatherings of great minds, noble spaces where art, politics, and philosophy thrived over shared wine and intelligent debate. But that memory is a polished lie. The truth is far uglier, especially when the cups ran over and the masks of civility began to slip. What began as talk of virtue and ideals often ended in something far more carnal and cruel. Slaves weren't just there to pour wine or serve dishes, they were the entertainment. Philosophers who praised justice by daylight saw no contradiction in using young bodies for amusement by night. The same men who wrote odes to honor and moderation treated their captives like instruments of pleasure, playthings without will or worth. Philemon tells you what to expect in a voice drained of emotion. It's not a story. It's a ritual, rehearsed and repeated too many times. The preparation is always the same: bathing, oiling, the scent of sweet resin, and citrus masking what everyone knows is coming. You're dressed in gauzy fabric that hides nothing, adorned with jewelry that says plainly, "This one is for looking at." The evening begins with pageantry. Reclining men speak of empires and virtue, while you and the others circle silently, pitchers in hand. Their words spiral in the smoke. Socrates, Sparta, honor, justice. But the wine flows faster than the reason, and soon the laughter grows coarse. Debates become dares, compliments turn to commands, then come the orders. Subtle at first. Pour him another. Massage his shoulders. Sit here, beside me. You obey, because there is no choice. The hand on your back doesn't ask, it asserts. The questions seem harmless. Where are you from? Do you miss your mother? But his fingers wander lower and your throat tightens. One night, a guest pulls you close. His voice is syrup slow and heavy with wine. Don't be afraid, he says, as if pretending this is affection. You try to pull away, but the room has grown quiet. All eyes are on you. The laughter that follows when you resist is louder than any scream. They don't beat you. Not yet. They hold you down gently, like handlers calming a horse. What follows is a violence more devastating than fists. You lie on your straw mattress afterward, cold and soiled, staring at a ceiling that offers no escape. You are no longer a person, just something that happens to be alive. But this was only your initiation. In time, you'll learn this house has rules and horrors that make that first night seem almost kind. Some guests come for sport, others come for cruelty, and some come for both. They compete to see who can humiliate most thoroughly, who can break a boy so completely he forgets his own name. The overseer encourages it. A broken slave is a quiet slave. A quiet slave doesn't cause trouble. You see Marcus try to escape once. They bring him back with blood on his legs and whip marks across his back so deep he can't stand straight for days. Alexios once refused to perform. They chained him to the garden fountain for 3 days, without shade or water, until his lips cracked and his eyes stopped focusing. Others don't resist physically. They fold inward. You see it happen. A kind of dying that leaves the body upright. The lights behind the eyes fade, replaced by blank compliance. The youngest boys don't even cry anymore. Not out loud. Some choose another way out. They stop eating. Stop speaking. Let their bodies waste away until there's nothing left to punish. When they take the die, the overseers barely notice. There are always more in the markets. What breaks you isn't just the pain, it's the randomness. The silence before a strike. The smile before a command. You never know when it's coming, and that uncertainty eats at you like acid. But worse still is how the world forgets you. They change your name to something easier for them to pronounce. They forbid your language, your stories, your gods. Every day is designed to erase who you were and overwrite it with who they want you to be. The guests who visit, men of letters and power, do not see the contradiction. A man can quote Plato in one breath and ruin you with the next. A politician can speak of justice by day and make you beg for mercy at night. A philosopher who writes of virtue can demand you kneel while he justifies your suffering as part of the natural order. They believe their brilliance excuses everything, that to own a body is to own its soul. And you begin to believe it too. Because when you're punished enough times for being human, you start to forget what being human ever felt like. But even here, resistance lingers like a hidden ember. Some whisper old stories in forgotten tongues. Some etch memories into the stone when no one's watching. You hum your mother's lullaby beneath your breath, knowing full well it might be the last piece of her you have left. And sometimes, when the pain grows quiet enough, you let yourself imagine. Not freedom, perhaps, but remembrance. That someone, someday, might know what happened behind these painted walls. That the cruelty won't be buried under the marble. that your suffering won't vanish without a trace. In the third year, something inside you finally breaks. Not with violence, but with quiet finality. It happens during a grand symposium celebrating a military triumph. The guests are young, privileged, and already drunk on wine and inherited power. They turn you and others into a game, taking turns inventing new ways to humiliate. And as you endure their mockery, a shift occurs. You stop seeing yourself as a person enduring torment. You begin to see what they see, a thing built to please. With that, the last part of you that remembered the mountains and the goats and the wind dies. And strangely, that death feels like relief. With nothing left to protect, pain loses its edge. You move through days without resistance, a model of submission, praised and rewarded for your emptiness. The other slaves see it too, and fear what it cost you. Still, something inside observes. You begin to see how the household functions, how suffering is organized. New boys arrive, others disappear. Some die. Some are sent to the mines, to gladiator schools. When you're sent to the slave markets with Demetrius, you watch yourself become an example. The boy who once wept in chains now helps judge others. You give assessments. You watch the terrified faces. You feel nothing. Until one day, you see him. A boy who looks just like you once did. Dark hair, small frame, eyes still searching for mercy. And something inside you flinches. Just for a second. You lie to Demetrius, say the heat got to you. But the truth is, that boy woke something up. Not hope, just grief. Grief for the child you were, for the life no one mourned. He's bought by another master. You never see him again, but his image stays. It brings back dreams, dangerous ones, your mother's voice, your father's laugh, fields and wind and freedom. The memories come uninvited, but you can't push them away. Then one night, during another symposium, the old men debate virtue and justice. One claims some are born for slavery. Another disagrees. You stand nearby, silent, holding their wine, listening to the men who abuse you speak of truth and ethics. And you realize they know exactly what they do. Their cruelty is not ignorance, it is choice. The world they built, their democracy, their art, their ideas, rests on bodies like yours. There is no contradiction. Their brilliance and their brutality grow from the same soil. You understand now. This is not failure, but design. Years pass. You become invisible again. This time from age. Your usefulness fades, and with it, their interest. One morning, Demetrius tells you you're being sold. To the mines. Not as punishment, not as reward. Just economics. You're too old for pleasure, but not yet too broken for labor. The mines are where slaves go to die. That night, Marcus visits. He survived. Barely. Servant to the master's wife now. He places a sharpened shard of metal in your hand. Doesn't speak, doesn't need to. It's a key, or a weapon, or a way out. You spend the night thinking. You could run, strike, end your life on your terms. But in the morning, you choose differently. You hide the shard where others might find it. You give someone else the chance Marcus gave you. The journey to the mines is long. You pass places that stir memories. Mountains, streams, small villages. You don't try to escape. You've stopped needing to. The world has already let you go. The camp is hell. The tunnels collapse. The dust chokes. But there is something remarkable too. In this place of death, slaves build life. They care for each other, tell stories, preserve names and languages. In the darkness, they witness each other's humanity. Your story joins theirs. A boy from the mountains who was sold for debt. who survived things no one should, who passed on hope even without feeling it. When death comes, it comes without spectacle. Your lungs give out, your body fails, but your name is spoken in that underground world, remembered. And that is not the end. Because stories like yours do not end. They echo. In the shadows, in the margins, behind every monument, every philosophy, every empire, there are the forgotten. And sometimes someone listens. The world we admire for its intellect and beauty was built on suffering. That's not contradiction. It's symmetry. Today we tell ourselves we've changed. But the pattern holds. Systems evolve, cruelty refines, victims fade into silence, children still vanish into exploitation, the powerless still pay for the comforts of the powerful. We build new symposiums, digital, economic, political, but the logic is the same. The same moral blindness, the same cold calculations, the same trade. One life for another's pleasure. You died in a mine, but your story remains. Not in books, not in statues, but in the voices of those still unseen, still used, still human. Their stories are still being written. The question is, will anyone listen?